Hey folks, still working on the next long form video, by the way. That video is actually in final edits. Looking good that we'll get that out sometime here in March, but stay tuned. That should be on the way very, very soon. Those of you on Patreon, keep an eye on your early access. Those of you here, stay tuned to your subscriptions and whatnot. In the meantime, though, I did want to cover this because this is a very big release. Even if, sadly, I don't have much to say about it. Heyo people, I'm Crash Thompson, and welcome to this review of the latest from Miley Cyrus, Endless Summer Vacation. I did genuinely want to hear this one, especially since her last record, Plastic Hearts. I was shocked at how well Miley could do the whole 80s Joan Jett, kind of tough girl, kind of fucking, yeah, fuck you, rock and roll kind of thing. She was really, really good at it. And, you know, that was kind of what made me come over to the other side. I've never been much of a huge Miley fan, but that record was way better than it had any right to be, and I absolutely wanted to pay attention to her next project, even though I kind of knew it probably wasn't going to be another Plastic Hearts rockin' sort of vibe record. The thing is, Plastic Hearts was the record that made me get Miley. Yeah, of course I was looking forward to this, especially when Flowers debuted. I know the vibe on Flowers is very divided. Some folks love that song. Apparently a lot of people do. It tore up the charts here. Damn. I loved that song at first, though I do have to admit the more I heard it and the frequency of which I heard that song too. It's like, okay, I get it, it's good radio, but you can stop playing it 5 times a day. The more I heard it, the less I enjoyed it. That one kind of fell off for me. But I was still interested to hear what we had going on here. And, well, I did kind of spoil it in the introduction there, but, well, you know, let me elaborate on that. I feel like the album does open strong. Flowers, even though I'm kind of sick of hearing it all over the place, I'd still say that's a very solid track, a damn strong opening number for sure. And the track that follows, Jaded, is also very strong melodically, kind of follows into that same sort of, fuck you, you were bad to me. Sorry you've got your problems, homie, but I'm moving on. You know, there's kind of a theme going on here at the opening half of this album. Like, they're both solid, tuneful tracks, even if they're not, like, lyrically deep. I mean, again, it's more just like, fuck you, I'm living my best life, live, laugh, love, elf, fucking die. But I'm just saying, I did vibe with the opening of this record. The new vocal direction she's kind of taken here lately, pulling from the deeper side of her register. You know, she reaches for a lot of lower notes, and like it makes her voice sound super smoky, super seductive, super alluring. Like, she is very, very good at that alto range that she just wallows in here with her later records. I am all about it. It was great on Plastic Hearts, and it still sounds good here. I mean, Miley's always been a very talented and especially a very dynamic singer, but she doesn't, how do I put it? She does not flex as hard as she did on the previous record. In fact, she's not doing much flexing at all. I'd say her performances here are very solid and serviceable, if not amazing. Honestly, the album, it kind of has tonal issues. It feels kind of listless. A lot of the composition is very downbeat. A lot of the songs are in very low tempos. It's an album that feels like it's designed to be in a very low gear. Again, maybe it's just because I'm still spoiled off of Plastic Hearts. There's just a distinct lack of energy and pulse on this record that even a lot of her poppier records have had. It's a little sleepy, it's a little mushy, it's a little... It has trouble getting out of first gear, is all I'm saying. I mean, given a lot of the lyrical themes, though, I get what she's reaching for here. This album absolutely feels like it's some kind of post-breakup album. Those opening 2 tracks really kind of let you know what you're in for with this ride. Miley got her heart broke, and she's got some thoughts about it. And, you know, I do get it. Again, it also makes me understand why the album is so downbeat, why everything is in kind of this sort of lower, kind of subdued mood. I'm just saying, it could have used a little more kick-ass. Even if you're hurt, like some of the best kick-ass albums ever have come from really bad breakups. I'm just saying, it wouldn't have hurt to have tried to put a little more pep into things, you know? Miley has said that this album is divided into 2 parts. The first 6 tracks are supposed to be the AM side, and the back half is the PM side, meaning the front half is more energetic and bright and lively, while the back half is more slinky and glamorous, and that's supposed to be the night on the club half of the album. Although that's the thing, if that's supposed to be the case for this record, I can't help but wonder if Miley got those 2 sides mixed up. Because the AM half of this record, I suppose it does feel like a morning, but it's a morning where, like, you didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, and you didn't get a chance to eat breakfast, and you're basically just running on 2 shots of espresso and a 5-hour energy and just praying the caffeine can carry you to 4 p.m. You know, it's one of those mornings. By the time you get back from lunch, you're like functional, but not cognizant there for it. You're just kind of running off of raw adrenaline and spite, and you start rambling about red electric eels and their venom and all this crazy shit. Yeah, that is an actual lyric from this album. I mean, to her credit, fuck, I've had mornings like that, I get it. Again, it opens strong with those first 2 tracks, but it loses momentum really quickly after Rose-Colored Lenses, and it kind of has trouble kickstarting things again, though I will admit the PM side does finally wake up a bit once we get to River. River is an absolutely wonderful song. It picks up the pace a lot with its fancier grooves, its deeper bass and rhythms. Again, Miley kind of said the back half of this record is kind of like the clubbing side of the record, and River definitely feels like one of those tracks. Violet Chemistry and Muddy Feet also continue that pace, Muddy Feet especially. It picks up the pace, and it shows Miley being much more confident with her vocals and her lyricism too. I am not necessarily a huge fan of Sia for many reasons, but her presence on this track is kind of minimal, and, you know, honestly, credit where it's due, it is still a good bop, and, you know, Sia doesn't necessarily get in the way of things, so yeah, you know, another handful of good tracks to kind of carry the album along. The only problem is, again, once we hit Wildcard, the album again loses its momentum, it runs out of steam. By the time we hit the closer, Wonder Woman, which, you know, it's okay, I guess, for what it is. It's just Miley and some tinkly piano accompaniment. It's okay for a little piano ballad, I guess, but man, the album, you just feel it begging to end. Again, it's like that morning where you've had to function on nothing but caffeine and spite all day, and when you finally get the chance to hit the bed, you just and you're like this for 16 hours, just it does work in places. I'm not entirely down on it. When Miley's leaning more into her anger or her frustration, or she's, you know, kicking things up a notch, it honestly does work. But weirdly enough, it's the sadder, the more contemplative, the moments where she wants to slow things down and just kind of vibe and get melancholy on us, which, you know, again, given that this is a breakup record, those are the songs you want to work on an album like that. Those are supposed to be the real moments where the album reaches into your chest and rips your heart out and squeezes it, you know what I mean? But it's those moments where the album works the least effectively. The word that I feel best describes this album, at least when it's not firing on all cylinders, is mushy. It's mushy, it's plodding, it's just trying to get to the end of that track list. This album is missing a lot of like spark and snap and teeth that Miley is so good at pulling off. I'm kind of shocked there isn't more of that here. Again, I could be projecting too much of Plastic Hearts onto this record, but you know, Plastic Hearts was a pretty savage record, you know? Plastic Hearts had moments like that on it too, and those were really effective. Imagine if Plastic Hearts Miley had shown up to this record, how much better it could have been. It's just that I've heard Miley do so much better on so many other releases. It's just kind of disappointing that this falls as short as it does. It's way too heavy on the contemplative slow jams, and the presence and heart and vindicated anguish just isn't really there. I mean, I'd say she's even done that kind of record better. Stuff like Younger Now and She Is Coming, like, yeah, those are what this album is trying to do, but just done much more effectively. You know, the songs I did genuinely really enjoy. Flowers, Jaded, Muddy Feet. There's lots of pretty solid tracks on this thing, but it's lacking in, like, surprises or panache. There's nothing on this record you have to hear. Maybe if you are just neck deep in the middle of a really bad breakup right now, there might be something on here for you. This may resonate with you. But on its own, I would honestly say there's not much here that's necessary. This is not a record you have to check out. This is not mandatory Miley listening. I'm feeling a light to solid 6 on this. Again, not bad, but man, oh man, I was expecting more. You know, it didn't need to be another rock and roll record for me to enjoy it. I've come to like a lot of Miley's pop catalog, and she could still put out a really good pop record. I just don't think this is it. It's fine for what it is, I guess, but like, again, it's not a necessary listen. And that's the review. What did you think of this record? Were you kind of like me and were kind of más y menos on this? Or did you absolutely love it? Or did you absolutely hate this record? Let me know in the comments below. Again, stay tuned. The next long-form video is in final edits, so that should be out fairly soon. Should definitely be able to get that out by sometime here in March. Knock on wood. But thanks again for watching. My name is Crash Thompson, and I will see ya when I see ya.